Hello everyone and welcome to this video on this course of getting started with Angular. In this part of the video, we'll be going over how we can create components automatically. In the previous video, we created a whole component manually, but in this video, I'll show you guys how it's possible to do all the stuff which we did in the previous video using one single command. So we are inside of the app folder, which is our parent component for this particular project. I have a customers component already made. I want to create another component which is just a customer component, a single customer component. So what I'll do is I'll type out the command which is ng generate component and then the name of the component, which is in this case customer. So a single customer. We have a multiple customers component. Now we're making a single customer component and the name can be anything of your choice. So I'll hit enter and I have a component created. Everything is already there for me, such as HTML file, spec file, SCSS file, TS file, all of that stuff which I had to create manually in the previous video. And if I were to go inside of the app.module.ts, I can see that the customer component has been declared as well. So everything has been pretty much done for me. If I were to go into the HTML file, let me just create an h1 tag and I will say welcome to the component. I hit save. And if I were to go to TS file, the selector is app-customer. Now, I did say in the previous videos that components are reusable. Using the selector, we can refer components inside of other components. So the app-select customer is the selector. If I were to go into my customers.component.html and do something like this, which is app-customer, basically referring to the customer component, and paste it 2 times. If I go inside of inside the application in the browser, I can see this welcome to the component, which is a part of the HTML tag over here. I can see it 2 times. And yeah, this makes sense. So basically, I am referring this customer.component.html inside of the customers.component.html 2 times. Now, if I were to style this h1 tag, that is very simple. We have this SCSS file given to us. So I'll just do h1, basically referring to the h1 tag, and let's say I give it a color of blue. Now if I were to hit save and go back, I can see welcome to the component, which is the h1 tag up as a part of the customer.component.html. It's in blue. Now a question may arise that why are these h1 tags unaffected? Well, the thing is that I only define the h1 tag to have a color of blue in the customer.component.scss. So the effect of this SCSS file is only limited to the customer.component. It doesn't, like, its effects don't surpass this component over here. Its effects are local. So SCSS files for components only affect HTML for that particular component and nothing else. Until and unless we go and define a style inside of the styles.scss, any style defined over here will be global. Any style defined anywhere else will be local. But more on that in the coming videos. So I have defined my h1 tag, I've given it a color and I can see that color as well. If I go into my TS file, I would like to go with something else which I believe is not something we will be using a lot, but it's just something that you guys should know for a better understanding of the Angular framework. Right now we have the template URL like this, right? And it is directing towards the customer.component.html where I have my HTML written. But it's also possible to inject HTML directly into the TS file as well. So how we do that is, I do template, just type a template like this, and just give JavaScript backtick marks, and I do h1 tag, welcome to the component, and I will close my h1 tag, and let me just comment this template URL right now, and I have to give a comma over here. Click Ctrl S, the project loads successfully, and I have welcome to the component over here. So basically what we did is that we injected our HTML directly into the TS file. Now the thing is that we will not be doing this a lot. It's a good thing to know, definitely, but we will not be using our HTML or writing an HTML like this, because once this surpasses 3 to 4 lines, it gets complicated, a little bit complicated, having your HTML file and TS code, TypeScript code, all of everything in one place. Yeah, but if you have like components which don't have a lot of code and the HTML is able to do 1-2 lines, this is one way of writing your HTML. Now, the same thing can be done for styles as well. So right now we have the style URLs like this. So let me just comment this out. I hit save. The color is gone, rightfully so. And I will do styles, but it will still be an array. It will not be just text but array. So we have this styles array like this, and as I was saying, we give JavaScript backtick marks, and we say that the h1 tag should have a color of, let's say, red. We hit save, we go back, and now the h1 tag has a color of red. So this is another way of adding styles to your HTML. We can have the HTML tag, the CSS, sorry, we can have the HTML code, the CSS code all in one place, which is the TS file. But we will not be doing something like this. This is just to give you guys an understanding of how things work. So let me just comment everything out. The last thing which I want to go over is this selector tag over here, this selector over here. Right now, if I were to go to my customers.component.html, I can see this app-customer. This app-customer is referred, it is an HTML tag, a customer HTML tag. Just like an h1 tag, this is a tag. But if I were to go to my customer.component.html and put a dot in front of it, now this looks like a class. If I were to save, my application would fail, and rightfully so, because this has a dot in front of it, which implies a class. So if I were to do something like, let's say, create a div and give it a class app-selector and save. Now I was trying to debug my code, and the reason was that the selector name over here is app-customer, app-customer, and I had an app-selector, which is wrong. So as you can see, when I put in app-customer as my class name, I can see my component now in the customer.component.html. So this is one way of how we can use selectors. We don't necessarily need to have them as tags. We can use them as classes, not as IDs, not using the hover or the focus effect of CSS, but classes are one way of using selectors as well. So yeah, this was all about how to use templates, styles, and selectors in different ways. In this video, we also covered how to create components automatically using Angular CLI. I hope you guys are finding this video useful. If you are, feel free to give me a like, feel free to share this content, for that would help me out a lot. And until we meet in the next video, this is Mohit Lodhi signing off.